Well, we will move away from that discussion for a bit and talk about GST, because that's where there's immediate disruption expected to happen as far as earnings, etc. are concerned. We have Mr. Shekhar Bajaj with us. Let me also invite Jayesh Gupta, the Vice President Sales at Symphony, who joins in as well. Mr. Gupta, thanks so much for joining us. Let me start with you.
Thank you.
There is an expectation that the industry might go through a temporary disruption because of GST. What's your own estimate?
Yeah, that's true, because people are scared about the GST, and they have a lack of knowledge, and that's why this may happen for a few months. But after that, we see a good growth in this.
Okay. Mr. Bajaj, just assess how the July quarter could go. In fact, July and the next quarter for a company like you. Will you all see low sales? And basically, what happens to your product price? Upon GST, does it rise, fall?
Okay. Number one is that we are talking about this June quarter. So in
Yes.
June quarter, the end of June is where the sale will get impacted, because a lot of our dealers and all are, we are also not encouraging them to buy more than they require, because they may not get a set off and all, and to get a refund from government is too much of a hassle. So we tell them, buy only what you need, and remaining you buy in July. What's the hurry of buying it in June? 10 days doesn't matter. And for us, we don't really look at quarterly results. We are saying, as long as you are taking care of the consumer, and consumer is getting the material, if your stock level was 1 month, it goes down to 15 days. What's the issue? There's no problem. So we are not looking that, okay, because of that, June sale will be down by 20%, and therefore to that extent the first quarter will not show such good numbers. It doesn't matter. We look at the year, we look at long term.
No, that is exactly why. Yeah, that's why, Mr. Bajaj.
Long term, people like Symphony.
No, that's why I'm asking you, what will be the impact in the July to September quarter? I can understand that all of you all are seeing destocking, and therefore the first quarter is going to be impacted in terms of revenues. But how will the July September quarter pan out? Will it be a rebound? Will it be continued confusion, because you have to find out which of your suppliers are already registered and can give you set off? In all this confusion, is July September going to be a rebound and a good quarter, or a rough quarter because you're still finding your feet?
July as a month may be slightly in a state of confusion, but all our major vendors and all are registered. Our major dealers also know exactly what to do. We are using Deloitte to guide us, so therefore we are that way relatively prepared for the GST coming in. But as far as for the quarter, I personally think there will be a positive growth coming up. One other thing, for people like Symphony, it's a different ball game, because their major season is this May-June season, and therefore if they lose out May-June, July nobody buys coolers, so that will be for next year. So therefore, to that extent, they have to. We've got so many other products which can be sold in July, so we will also lose out our cooler sale, but that's nothing in comparison to the total business, is very nominal. And also, as far as GST is concerned, in our consumer products, I personally think that all the people who are in the informal sector, who have been, say, avoiding taxes and all, will have to come into the tax net. If they don't do so, in the secondary sale, they will not get a set off. Today, the whole game is that if I am charging 28%, I'm getting a set off because my vendor is charging me 28%, and that to that extent, I get a set off. If a person buys without any bill, and he bills it at 28% to any dealer or retailer, he in turn will not get a set off because he is not paid the 28%. So I think this whole cycle of paying and getting a adjustment is something which is going to result in, at least out of the 20-30%, at least half of them will get registered and go through our type of business. This is what I personally feel.
I take that point. Mr. Gupta, good morning. The other point that I wanted to discuss with you, we recently had Voltas management, and they said that, at least now the discounts are running at 40 to 50% in the system. And, this is the season for you. So can we expect a bad quarter at least? Year to year, of course, we'll talk later, but for this quarter, are things looking slightly off?
No, we have not dropped our prices. We maintain our prices, and we are sure of getting good growth, and we will maintain our CAGR.
Okay. So what can you say for the year as a whole after the entire GST process? Year on year, would you be able to maintain the kind of growth you've maintained an average of the last couple of years?
See, in air cooler industry, still 60 to 70% market is of unorganized, and we see a very big shift from that market as because of the GST, and people will move to organized sector, and thus our sale will increase tremendously. Tremendous growth potential will be there in air coolers.
Could you put a number to it, Mr. Gupta?
It's very difficult to define a number right now, because I don't know how the trade will react to it after some time.
Okay,
it's too premature.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gupta and Mr. Bajaj for joining us. We'll have to take a short break on that note, but we'll return with the top story of the day, the farm loan waiver.